This is Maurice Jones-Drew, and you're listening to the What's Bruin Show.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, UCLA, fight.
You're listening to the What's Bruin Show, part of the What's Bruin Show Network, with your hosts, Jake Merrifield, Bill Shirley, Jamaal Artis, and Mike Regalado, bringing you anything and everything UCLA sports. And now, it's time for the What's Bruin Show.
And welcome to What's Bruin, a show about anything and everything Bruin sports. I am your freaking host, Bill Shirley.
Hates Caucasians, despises Americans, and has nothing but contempt for women.
Kill Bill.
Sounds like Bill.
Kill Bill.
Is that Kill Bill?
Yeah.
That's what's his, David Carradine.
Yeah.
David Carradine.
Yeah,
There
that's
it is.
Bill. That's Bill. When he's talking about his master, whose name
He's about to send...
No, I thought he was sending it to the pimp.
No, he's about to send Uma Thurman up to see Paime to get trained.
Yeah.
The 5-point.
Exploding heart technique.
Oh, so good.
Nice.
That was really good. Guys, what's going
Exploding
on?
palm technique.
Is that what it was? Exploding palm. Now you got to Google it. You got to look it up.
Yeah.
So that's a perfect representation of UCLA sports in general, except for the women's
basketball team. That's the only one representing right now.
Yes,
Guys, welcome to What's Bruin, a show about anything and everything Bruin sports. We are all here again. Happy New Year.
What's up, y'all?
Is this the first show?
5-point palm exploding heart technique.
Okay.
We almost had it.
Jake, did you
had all
guys
those
record a
words in it.
show before last week? Did you guys do that?
We haven't recorded since...
Oh, that one.
Oh, jeez. Jake
I
got a
know.
new board.
Ask me again if we recorded a show.
Okay, no, I got it.
Although that record scratch was perfect.
It was.
Yeah.
Ask me if we recorded a show.
Have you recorded the show? There you go.
Yeah, this is the first time in 3 weeks, I think.
Okay, good.
I got to memorize his buttons.
Well, guess
2,
what?
3.
Happy freaking New Year to everyone out there, all 5 of you. It is
Bill
good to
is
be back.
participating in his only show of the year, so it's good.
No, I'm going to be here through basketball season.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I am.
We'll see.
Okay, fine.
When
We'll see.
when it lines up for you. When it
Correct.
When it lines up.
Yes.
When it
Depends
lines
on the boys' tournaments.
Right?
So
You just wanna say this.
every fourth Tuesday where there's not a team meeting or a late
There
practice,
has to be a blue moon.
or you don't have a bowel movement to schedule.
Oh, then that's never.
I mean, that's never.
Yeah. Yeah. But either way, it's good to be back. Good to have everyone here.
Happy New Year.
Happy freaking New Year to
Happy New
everyone.
Year to everybody.
So, here's the thing. This is part of the Bruin Network. This is one show.
Let's just do
That's
this
part
show.
of that's part of maybe another show. That's probably it,
We
right?
have like
It's
there's
it's
two
just
active
this and
shows
the bare
right now.
minimum.
Yeah.
This is
the
the bare minimum. So it's good to see. So
The bare minimum.
The bare
listen,
minimum.
Here's something. Look, I'll do this for you guys. You can reach us and give us calls in the new year at 805-399.
For WBS.
For WBS.
Reign of Troy.
I'm going to go see him tomorrow.
And I got a beer for you that says the Fall of Troy. So I hope
By Belching Beaver, was it?
I
Nice.
don't know, but I hope you enjoy it. I
Oh,
hope it's
yeah.
really tasty.
What's the email, Bill?
Well, I don't know what the email is. It's what'sbruinshow at gmail.com, I think.
You do know what the email is. That's a good job.
Oh, there you go.
Hey, we'll give him.
So anyways,
What's the Twitter, Bill?
to have no freaking clue. It's actually X now, Jake. Get it straight.
What's the Twitter X, Bill?
No, sorry. No. Everyone still calls it the Twitter.
Does it? Do they really?
Oh,
I
yeah.
call it.
Nobody-
I like to call it Twitter X.
Does no?
La Twitex? That's my go-to.
Do people really? I mean, when they?
Oh, yeah, nobody cares. They're like, that's stupid. We're still calling it Twitter. This is stupid.
That's funny.
But what's our
Yeah,
what's
I
our what's
I don't know.
our
What's
I-
Bruin Show? At What's Bruin Show?
I didn't put up a
Yeah,
post. I
Bill.
put up a tweet.
Do you say yeah? Because what do you say? Is it X? Like do you?
I
put up
don't
an
know.
X.
They did
like
this
exhibit?
thing. Well,
You
it's
threw your
called.
hands up in the signs of an X.
There you go.
It was
What you
posted
see is
one
what you
time
get.
where it said, "Oh, they're now called X or something." It was
You're like,
XTH. I'm like,
Zeets. They're calling them Zeets.
Zeets.
That's
Yeah.
so
so
stupid.
dumb.
Yeah, like that is stuck. Yeah, it's a tweet, people.
It's a Twitter.
a freaking tweet.
It's a tweet X.
Okay.
X tweet.
Well, either way, guys, we have a lot to talk about. I think.
Well, no, you got the email, you got the Twitter, you got the phone number. Is there anything else? What's the website? If you want to donate on Patreon for how much, Mike?
$2.
Do not know, Jake. Tell us.
What is it?
Freaking! I said I don't know.
It corresponds, Bill. What'sbruinshow.com or patreon.com/what'sbruinshow.
But what about Substack?
What is it, Bill?
I don't know.
What's Bruin?
Uh-huh.
.substack.com or Substack.
There you
What's
go.
Bruin?
You hear this, guys?
What's Bruin?
Do you hear this, guys?
Substack.com.
I mean, what is it, Bill? I mean, but it's this and then this and then this.
Well, I mean, this is like your job.
Jake,
like
no, it's
over
not
there.
my job.
This is your job over
So
here.
how do you get merch?
You're doing
Jake?
good. Look, dude, you're
Jake.
like 4 for 5.
Jake, how do you get merch? Give me that link, mother effer.
That's a link in the show notes. That's a link in the show notes.
Wow.
Do you really want to know what it is? Because I have it right here.
No, it's okay.
It's
we can
literally
tweet
right
it out.
here.
We can tweet it out. See, there you go. I said tweet it out. How was
It is
It just comes naturally.
mylocker.net/shop/what's-bruin.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
Nice.
it's
very memorable.
not too bad.
Rolls off the
I
tongue.
still have no idea if we sold
Rolls
anything.
off
I know we
the
sold
tongue.
something to Seamus. Thank you, Seamus. We love you. But I've not seen any sort of report from that site. I really am. Guys, I'm really good at like starting the projects and spending the money. I'm not real good at like accounting for the money.
I should help you out, shouldn't I?
I really, what I really need, a personal assistant. Like I would rule the world if I had a personal assistant. Anybody out there want to do that for free?
Your co-host for the bare minimum could do an internship with a well-known podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Doing administrative work. I'm just saying.
Hey,
It'll be
As my friend said, you have kids, free labor.
she'll be an intern.
That's a really good point. You, sir.
Yeah, I was half joking it, but
sir.
I would say we're a legitimate.
She's going to be a intern for the WBSN, What's Bruin Show Network, a subsidiary of Kramerica Industries.
Oh.
There's a Seinfeld episode about this.
Throw this in there. She's the executive intern.
Oh yeah, definitely, and she put it on her resume.
Exactly.
Well, she did
She's
some
assistant
of her
manager or assistant
Manager to the
to the
assistant.
manager.
I mean, part of her college applications was like 80 hours of community service with the sheriff's department because and she actually did it, but
Yeah.
like she's worked for me in the past, so that's good. It's a very good idea. Yeah, I think we might have to go with that.
Regional executive intern.
I like
And
that
I'm
too.
just throwing words out there now.
But anywho, Bill, you are now having a Diet Coke or Diet 7-Up.
Hey,
What is
7-Up. I haven't had a 7-Up in forever.
What the hell kind of 7? It's a 0 sugar 7-Up. What flavor is it?
Tropical.
Oh, is it any good? Live on the air. Taste test.
It's okay. Yo, actually, no. It's not. I usually
So we
drink
don't
anything.
like that.
And I'm not drinking that one.
Okay. You want to go pour it out right now?
I will. Well, you guys still
Well,
talk.
actually,
Yeah,
let
go
me
ahead.
have a sample.
I
Pass it around.
see. Made with pork. That's why it has expiration date.
I don't. Yeah, I'm okay.
Tropical flavored soda, 0 sugar. I mean, it's kind of peachish. It kind of tastes like peach fresca. Only go see if somebody inside wants
Although,
that.
you know what? This talk is a little bit more stimulating than what we're going to get into very shortly.
It is. So we got a lot of stuff that we can talk about that we will get to. Do you want to do some Bro-Affiliated headlines, or you just want to get into just talking about all the stuff that's going on?
Yeah, let's just get into it because we have 3 weeks. We're backed up 3 weeks. So
let's just start with the happy stuff, the things you want to talk about, which will be the winner in the UCLA program right now, which is women's basketball talk. Women's. We're going to open the show up with a 14-0 women's basketball team in honor of them and Nancy. Hi, Nancy.
Well, Jake.
Yeah. Bill, we're talking about women's basketball. You're going to have to come back for like 10. Oh, God. Take 10.
The Pac-12 play just started.
Yes.
UCLA women's basketball in their conference home opener took on number 6 USC. The Bruins have been ranked number 2 for, I believe it's 7 weeks now. And they opened up Pac-12 play with a game at Pauley against the USC Trojans. Their first ever sellout.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it was a big event, and it was a really good game. USC with what Lindsey Gottlieb has going on over there has really brought that team up, and they're also doing pretty well with Juju Watkins, who she's won Freshman of the Year, Freshman of the Week every week this season, and she's also, I believe, in the top 20 in scoring in the nation. She's
Mike,
very good.
You're starting off our women's basketball talk by talking about some Trojan chicks.
I have a point.
F those guys.
I have a point.
Okay, good.
But guess
you're
who shut
building up the opponent.
Guess who shut her down?
Let me guess.
Go Bruins.
Charisma Automatic Osborne. She was a huge defensive presence for UCLA, and that's the thing. The women's basketball team has always had really good defense. Their offense has been, suspect from here to there. They have good stretches, and then it just disappears. But this year, as we've talked about, they just have all the parts in the right place. And especially when you have someone like London Jones, who's played like a back, not necessarily a backup role, but someone like in the shadows. She's still been a starter, but this year she's just stepped up. And in that game, she scored, I believe it was 21 points, had some threes that were just daggers for UCLA. And they came away with a big win to remain number 2 in the nation. And it's weird. South Carolina has been number 1 in the nation for
ever
as many weeks as UCLA, I believe.
Yeah.
And in that time, UCLA has not even received one first place vote. After the USC game, they received one first place vote.
Oh, that's nice.
The Bruins then they took down Oregon 75-49, and then followed that up with
Wimpy Ducks.
A big win over Oregon State, Oregon State before this weekend, they were undefeated. They ran into the Trojans and the Bruins. Now I believe they're 13-2, I think is what their record is. They lost 65-54. And that was a very close game. And that was one that Coach Close said they did not have their best game. She was clearly not happy. Not as unhappy as some other people. But they showed their fight through the end of the game because they didn't give up. Like Lauren Betts didn't have her best game, but was still able to take down. I'm forgetting her first name, but Beers from Oregon State, who she's an absolute baller too. She's a big presence for them in the front court. But Lauren Betts, every time you get her the ball, it's almost automatic. And then when you have just shooters all around, a solid point guard and Kiki Rice, Gabriella Hawkes coming off the bench. There's just so much going right for the Bruins right now. And it gets tougher too, because, well, for one, we talked about this last time 3 weeks ago, how UCLA and USC usually play early in the season, which kind of sucks because even though they were able to get that sellout, there were no students on campus.
Oh, yeah.
It kind of sucked for...
That totally sucks.
Yeah, and now they're playing USC again this Sunday. You don't have that with like the men's, and obviously the women's scheduling is a little bit different. But they're playing at number 9 USC on this Sunday. That's their only game this week. And then it gets freaking harder. At Colorado, at Utah. 3
ranked opponents in a row.
Yeah. Washington State, then at Cal and at Stanford. That one's going to be huge on Sunday, February 4th. But right now, the women are just it's bizarre because they've been good the last few seasons. I've just noticed they need a few pieces here and there, and now they have them. And so maybe it is a little bit of the Bruin battered syndrome with women's basketball. But there have been some times where I'm like, they're going to let up. They're not going to pull this out. It's like, oh dear God, they won. They're not just winning. They're just like destroying teams too. I think one of the closest games they had was against Princeton, and that was way early in the season. The Bruins are it's just fascinating to watch them, especially their bench too. Like I said, Gabriella Hawkes, but then you also have players like Cameron Brown and Izzy Adste. Just role players that just know exactly what to do, and it is all coming together for them.
I don't want to take anything away from South Carolina, but the Bruins, South Carolina has 2 more ranked opponents on their entire schedule. They play LSU at the end of January, and then as of right now, they play UConn at the beginning of February. Mm-hmm. Other than that, there's just a conference play, and none of those teams that I'm looking at, I'm eyeballing it, are ranked. UCLA still has 6 ranked opponents left on the schedule, including the next 3 in a row. Yeah. So, I mean, you would think that if the Bruins are able to keep playing this well, and I think it's unrealistic to think that they're going to go undefeated on the schedule, don't you, Mike?
Yeah. That's quite a schedule right there.
But it looks like their degree of difficulty is much more than UConn. So at the very worst, I don't know. I mean, there's a couple other undefeated teams out there. I guess one other undefeated team out there in Baylor. But I wonder how UCLA will be ranked if they end up with 1 or 2 losses by the end of the season. Because it seems like, I don't know, everybody's got like 1 or 2 losses right now once you get beyond these 2 unbeatens. Yeah. But certainly still a tough schedule. But so how do you feel like, I mean, is it still at this point, they started 14-0, Mike. Do you think that if they don't win the conference title, it's a disappointment? Or are you just looking for a good playoff seeding and they're going to be judged more on how they do in the tournament?
I think they currently, I mean, just the way that they're beating up on even really good teams. At this point, it would be a disappointment, but I wouldn't be very sad about it because Stanford still has a really good team. Utah has a good
Right.
team. Colorado has a good team. And
It's a disappointment,
think-
but not a deal breaker.
no. And we said this at the beginning of the season. I think one of two things needs to happen. They either need to win the conference or get to the Final Four. And I honestly think that they are poised for both of those.
Yikes.
So, yeah, deep run. I haven't checked in a few weeks, but the last time, I think it was before we went on break for Christmas, for the holidays, UCLA was a 1 seed in the early bracketology. And I don't see how that has changed. And
certainly not changed right now, right?
Yeah, and a lot of the metrics, like right now, there's, and these are kind of stupid too. Like, for example, the women's net rankings, UCLA is 5th in the net rankings. Do you know who's 4th?
Who?
UConn, a team they beat by 15 points. They got to figure out how to retool that. And even in
They need new net.
even in the women's RPI,
This net's got holes in it.
number 1 is Connecticut, number
You like
2
that,
is
Bill?
Stanford, number 3 is UCLA,
He's almost-
and South Carolina is down at number 7. Something's weird with a lot of these analytic rankings, but either way, the Bruins are just like beating up on people. Like they're not that I'm some sort of UCLA, like guru, women's basketball guru, but I honestly did not think that they would be this good, and they're blowing away my expectations.
Last little bit on this. We had in December, I want to say there was a story about like somebody, I think ESPN ranked the top women's basketball players, college women basketball players, and there was a little controversy because like I think the top ranked one for UCLA was like past
Lauren
number 10.
Betts, number 19.
She was pretty
something like that.
much, and like at that point they were undefeated and they were blowing out everybody and stuff.
Yeah.
Why do you think is that? Because you'd figure there'd be some focus on
East Coast bias. A lot of that
even in
bit.
women's basketball where there's so many good teams out here.
Even with the Pac-12 being the best conference over the last half decade.
That's a shame.
And and I think it is because this is the first time UCLA has had this high quality of a team that nobody a lot of the
And they're actually
pundits
producing.
that watch college basketball, women's college basketball, haven't really been looking at UCLA. But for those of us that have really studied and seen what Corey Close has done over the last few years and what she's building, the fact that she has, I think, 2 or 3 5-stars coming in next year, like
Yeesh.
this is how you recruit. This is how you are. Have that continuity from year to year. The fact that
Hint, Mick Cronin. hint.
the fact that UCLA
Kelly.
is going to lose Charisma Osborne next year is going to be huge, but it's not. It's because she's basically the GOAT. I called her the GOAT on Twitter. Yeah, I still call it Twitter. It's not X. You and your board, Jake.
I love it.
That got the attention of one of these women's basketball
Loveland.
accounts.
Here we
and,
come.
And one of their videos they put out, they put my tweet on it. I was like, hey, that's me.
Let's go.
I was basically calling Charisma the GOAT. And
Sorry, Michigan's
just-
about to pull away from Washington.
no, whatever.
They're getting close too.
Anyway, back to
Sorry.
women's college.
We're watching the end of the
basketball.
national championship game while we're doing this.
But that's the thing. They have loaded and recruited so well that even though Charisma is going to be missed, they could be a better team next year. It's really
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's really interesting how Corey Close has constructed this team, taken her time. Took a few hits, from fans, the last few years, especially when they had a lot of those injuries. Thank God we haven't had a major injury. I mean, Emily Bessoir is
Mike, knock
done
on
for the
something.
season. What is
Yeah, the
head is-
splinter you could have knocked.
Oh, yeah, it's spilling under my hand. That would have been cute. But yeah, as you say, knock on wood. Hopefully everybody stays healthy and this team can make a deep run because there's just so much talent and they're just backed up. They have a lot of presence on the bench, and yeah, they're just tearing through people. It is really fun to watch this team. If you like good basketball, check out this team. So,
Well, why don't we pivot from the good part of UCLA athletics right now over to some of the
let's go bipolar.
not so great side, and we'll talk some more basketball with the men's team. So, the last time we all talked together, I don't remember if Bill was here on this conversation or not, but I think we had, this is early to mid-December when we were talking about this stuff. And the Bruins at that point had a few games left in their non-con. And we're like, okay, well, they have a chance to kind of finish strong here after having a close loss to like Villanova. And I want to say it was before the Ohio State game or something. And then they had that close loss to Marquette, but they were, 5-2 or something. And we're like, okay, well, just finish off the non-con strong, the Matadors, that'll be an easy game. And then you get on with it, and I went to that game. It was not an easy game. In fact, it was a terrible game when they were down by 19 to the goddamn Cal State Northridge Matadors. What the hell? What the hell was I watching there? Right? Turns out a veteran team taking on a young team and just kicking the crap out of them.
Yeah.
For the rest of that game. So the Bruins end up finishing with 4 losses in a row to end the non-con. So that kind of pretty much put them behind the 8 ball for any sort of postseason expectations this year, right then and there. And then they start the conference season with a nice win at Oregon State. That was nice. But then they lose 3 in a row to Oregon, Stanford.
Yeah, UCLA is currently on a 3-game
Jamaal, California. Yeah.
It's been quite a month for UCLA men's basketball. They're on a 3-game losing streak at home, which comes just after they ended their 29-game home winning streak, which was the longest in the nation at that point. So, yeah, it's a little rough. And it's weird because the majority of the talk with UCLA was that they looked pretty decent. Obviously, they looked like a young team during the Maui Invitational. But, some people have said it seems like they've regressed. Which, yes and no. I would say offensively, yes. Defensively, they've actually been not horrible. They've been a pretty decent team.
I love that ringing endorsement. Not horrible.
Well, considering everything else they're going through, exactly. But I think they're in the top 20 in scoring defense, opponent's field goal percentage. So they're not horrible, but they're also not scoring anything to help out on that end of the court.
Yeah, their droughts have been epic. Their offensive droughts have been totally epic. Seriously,
you like 5 minute droughts.
You're like, can you hit anything?
Yeah, and free throws, whatever, that helps, but not hitting a field goal within 4 or 5 minute stretch. That's and it's rough. It's just there's like a lack of confidence with a lot of people. I mean, some of them, especially the younger guys, it seems like this has been talked about. Where it's they kind of look over and it's like, well, are we gonna get benched for doing this or not doing this or whatnot? And Cronin's trying to use his veterans.
Let's put that in air quotes. Can we put that in air quotes? Veterans?
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, 7 freshmen, 1 junior, 3 sophomores, whatever the numbers are. But it's a young team, and I get it, but it's not going as planned.
I do want to ask this. We'll talk a little bit about the Cronin postgame in a minute, but not talking about the postgame stuff, not talking about him not showing up with the postgame stuff yet, leaving all that out of it, just talking about within the confines of the game. Because now I've been to a couple games, and from what I watched on TV as well, this is a young team. He's definitely treating this team different than he's treated his teams in the past in regards to during the game. I'm not seeing him flip out and melt down like he used to, but he's doing a lot of things. He's like pulling guys, putting them back in, and all that stuff. But he does seem like he's not a crazy leprechaun on the sideline this season, and he's kind of holding it back a little bit, but he's certainly not holding it back after the game. Do you think that observation for me, though, is accurate, or is that just me? I just haven't seen him jumping around acting crazy.
No, okay. So
which I'm used to seeing during the games.
Okay, so I would say this. He did it early this season, and then he got some flack for it. And Mike, I think it was
around
Did he get some flack?
He did. Invitational.
Yeah, he got some flack for just MFing the hell out of him.
Oh, okay.
And then he chilled out. And even Suzanne and I were like, man, he doesn't say anything right now. He's just sort of standing over there.
Yeah, that's what I noticed.
You could tell he's not happy, but he's not MFing him.
Especially like the Northridge game when they're down by 19 in the middle of the game. I'm like, this is not what I was expecting.
And then you saw the Cal game where the guy takes off his jacket, throws his jacket, and is like, "You mother!"
Yeah, that seemed like there was like a lot of frustration.
By the way.
Frustration pent up because that was even I was like, "How the hell is that?" a foul.
I agree with you.
Oh, this is the punch in the face foul?
No, that
No,
was
it
the
was-
previous game.
Yeah. So this game, it was. I forgot what he got, but
It looked like a charging call.
Yes.
And the guy was, he definitely took steps back, and they called a blocking foul on Will McClendon. And,
gotcha.
and everyone went, boo, everyone started with the
Boo, yeah.
boos, and rightfully so, because that was a horrible call.
But either way, it was like Mike was saying about the built up. You could tell he had just been.
He's kinda snapped.
I swear to God, he snapped. I swear to God, because he's been like quiet over there. And
He's
it's
just that red guy about that movie from Emotions, where it's like his steam's just blowing out of the top of his head.
Yes, he literally is from what is that movie called? The Disney not Elements? No, not Elements.
Whatever, it's not important.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
The Pixar movie. But either way,
Maybe Washington's back in this game. Deep pass on the sideline. Okay.
Finally.
It's 27-13 with 6 minutes left, and the Huskies are on the 30. I'm sorry. Keep going.
Never give up, never surrender.
He was wide
He's
open.
wide open. Good Lord.
But yeah, man. So it's just one of those things, Jake, where it's still there, not as much, but it's still there. And who knows what happens behind closed doors.
I'm sure behind closed doors, I don't know. The reason I bring it up is because I think we're all going to give him a little bit of criticism, at least, for how he handled the last post game, the Golden Bear one. And then I've just been, entertained listening to, like, if you go back and you listen to the UCLA post games that they put out, because they'll put out his press availability to like Josh Lewin and Tracy Murray, and he's hitting kind of the same points every game, and he's being consistent in what he's saying, and you could clearly tell what he's frustrated with and who he's kind of not frustrated with. But I do feel like he's treating this group differently, if he has the same expectations, right, or whatever. He's treating them differently than he's treating like his crew of veteranos, that he had the last like 3-4 years, right? And so there is a little bit of adjusting to, I know some people might make the argument that he shouldn't have this new of a group, and that was a mistake just to begin with, and that's where they're starting from a mistake in place, right? But even with that being said, I kind of feel like I see I'm not happy with the results of UCLA basketball right now. However, I am, to a degree, enjoying this new batch of guys who we know not at all, and I'm hoping to see
them come back,
development at the end, but it's really rough going right now, right?
Yeah.
But I do see Cronin doing different things as a coach, trying to pull different things out of his bag, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys think I'm far off on that or not,
Well, that's what I was thinking about a few weeks ago. It's like, I don't know if he's trying to have these guys play. Obviously, he wants them to play his sort of basketball, but especially with a lot of young guys, not many are well. How can I say this? They're not experienced. They basically don't have experience, and they don't have experience in his system. So, does he have? Even Tracy Pearson touched upon this as well. You got to meet them at their level. It's like, what can you do? Okay, let's have you do this and this and this, because right now, and especially from a leadership standpoint, as Bill said a little while ago, veteran, using that word loosely, because last year was a veteran laden team. This year is a freshman-laden team.
Yeah, they've had a veteran-laden team for 2.5 years.
Yeah, exactly. And they
3
don't
years.
now. Like, who's the leader right now? Adam Bona? Like, he's still trying to find his way on, he's still trying to find his game. That's a little difficult trying to. Yeah,
it's hard for that to be your leader when he's the big guy in the middle, and he can only do so much.
Now, if let's say you had like 3 or 4 juniors or seniors on this who have been in Cronin's system, that would help out the development, the progress of the younger guys, because they'll say, hey, this is what you need to do. This is what we're all going to do. This is how we have to do it. But there's nobody there. Lazar, he's the oldest one, right? I think it is.
Yeah.
But he's a transfer. This is his first year.
Yeah.
Bona, he's had 1 year. The other 3 guys from last year, Nubo's the one I was thinking of. He's the one that's been in the program the longest, but he's been a role player. Yeah, he's not a leader, and he can tell the younger guys, what they have to do, but it's not like having Tiger Campbell come up to you and say, hey, buddy, this is what you got to do.
Andrew's a sophomore or junior?
A sophomore.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's not like having Jaime or Jules Bernard or David Singleton, especially like a guy like David Singleton, who he was kind of like the dad of the group last year. Jaime was obviously the superstar, but the guy that got that, I forgot who it was, but there were a few times where David Singleton, after something happened, he'd go up to his teammate and go, dude, nah, this is not what we do.
Yeah.
Get back in the game. We have a game to do. get your head in it. And it was like that. They don't have anybody like that right now.
So the question is, where do we go from here? I shouldn't say we. Where does Mick Cronin go from here? What do? You're seeing all these. Oh!
Flag thrown.
Flags everywhere. Sorry, guys.
Sorry.
We're watching the national championship.
Watching them another first down.
Everyone listening is like, what? What happened? What happened?
Phoenix is on the ground.
Oh, come on.
Someone needs to help him up.
So that's the question, guys. And that's, I'll throw it back to you, Jake. You've been asking the questions, but I'll throw it. What do you think is a way forward with seven freshmen, 2 sophomores, and whatever else, et cetera, et cetera?
I just think that we kind of got our hopes up at the beginning of the year when they were, 5-1 or 5-2 or whatever, and they actually were like competing when they were on the road at Villanova and they were on and they played Maryland and all that stuff. But it's clear now that they're nowhere near being where they need to be to like compete in the Pac-12 this year.
Oh yeah.
But with that being said, I mean, that's okay to me. Like, I think that since Cronin has been here, he has done more than enough to prove that he knows what he's doing, like fine. In every regard, right?
Yes.
And so I understand how people might be frustrated by, and we'll talk about the postgame stuff next. I guess we can lead into that too. But I understand how people could be frustrated by that. But at the same time, it's like, if he starts doing this on the regular, not coming out and like, oh my gosh, I guess Washington's
it's
hopes
over,
are
guys.
done. Was that interception?
That's a pick six.
That's a pick, baby,
Wow.
and a pancake to finish. Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Oh no, he's not getting it.
Oh wow.
Still,
Washington
he's down
returns
at
it back to the
5.
10-yard
Wow.
line. Yeah.
Game over, guys.
All right, there we go.
All right.
Go
Michigan won.
Big Blue.
Go Blue.
Shut up.
Hey, we're gonna hear that song a
Hail
lot.
to the victors.
We're gonna hear that song a lot
yeah.
when they score on UCLA next year.
Hey.
Not,
We
they don't
don't
play.
play them.
No, I don't think UCLA
don't.
plays them.
They don't.
No.
So it's all good. But anyways, to me, I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment when it comes to criticizing this particular UCLA basketball team or this particular version of Mick Cronin or whatever, because I haven't seen anything that's like out of bounds. I find it kind of endlessly entertaining to hear him talk about his players. And I would side on that. I know, there's got to be a fine line between like throwing your players under the bus and just saying stuff that is hopefully meant to like motivate them or hopefully meant to be like brutally honest and being brutally honest with whoever you're talking to.
Yeah.
Right. And to me, Cronin's been plenty accountable for his whole time at UCLA to where he's kind of earned, he can like kind of pop off a little bit about guys he's not happy about. And by the way, if he didn't say any of this stuff, he'd be completely boring and uninteresting. So we should be thankful we have a coach that knows what he's doing and actually says stuff that's entertaining.
Yeah.
And, and that's kind of where I'm coming from. And listening to the different post games from the last couple of weeks, like a few things are very clear to me. Number one, you can kind of tell who he really likes. He likes the guys that are big. He likes the Bona, how they're playing. And he'll stick up for those guys. And you can kind of tell who he's really frustrated with. And those are the little guys and the guards. And he is endlessly frustrated with the guards. And he is kind of sticking up for the big guys and
I'd say the older guys too.
The older guys too, yeah, obviously. And he just is trying to get these guys' heads put on straight to where I guess they can compete at this level and compete in the way that he wants them to compete to be on his team. So I don't know. Go anywhere that you want from there, guys, as far as your opinion of where the program is at currently. And do you think there's any sort of like warning signs here with, like him not showing up for the Cal postgame availability?
Warning sign in terms of what? What warning sign?
Well, just there's a lot. This week, Plaschke slanders him in an article, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't. He's obviously frustrated. Mike's saying he's throwing his coat, on the sideline, all that stuff, and they wait around.
Well,
for
I'm
him.
not saying everybody saw that. That wasn't.
Wait, you're absolutely right.
Yeah,
that was.
That was everybody.
Obviously, there's a frustration level here, right? And obviously, there is some criticism about how this year's being handled right now. Yeah, I'm just kind of like, okay, fine. They were good when they had all these veteran guys, and now they got a bunch of new guys. So this is one of the possible outcomes. So I'm not real upset about it, right?
Neither am I.
I'm assuming that by the end of the year they're going to be better, and by next year they're going to be pretty good.
That's what I'm saying.
That's kind of what I'm assuming.
I'm assuming we just go through a hellish
Am I
season.
crazy?
No, because I agree with you. I'm telling people at work are like, oh man, the Bruins are going to get this thing together. I'm like, I don't really think so. And I said, but I'm okay with
that's
that.
okay,
because,
in my opinion.
Because it's going to work out. They will get better, and or he'll fix it in the transfer portal. Right? So this is not going to be. He's not going. I'm telling you this right now. you can put some money down. He's going to be better next year, markedly better than his record this year. Next year, I'm telling you, I'm sure some of these guys, I'm sure, Mike, I'm sure you probably agree with this too. Some of these guys aren't going to be here next year. I don't know how many.
Probably.
Some of these guys aren't going to be, whether it is by their own volition or by a little nudge. But there's going to be a group that stays, and he's going to add a couple pieces, and they're going to be better next year.
Is there any concern about like some of the comments he does make in the post games? Kind of like earlier in the month, he was talking about how he doesn't have enough NIL to go out and just buy whatever players he wants, things like that. Getting chippy in that regard. Do you guys have any concern about any of that?
I mean, it's partially true. UCLA overall is behind on NIL.
As we keep hearing.
For football and basketball and all other sports. You got the men of Westwood coming up, but even Tracy talked to Ken Grauer, the genius behind Men of Westwood, and he talked about how I forget what game it was, but he's like, we got to do something. We got to get some NIL up in here to help boost UCLA's status. And yeah, there were, UCLA whiffed on a few recruits because NIL wasn't there where, I forget what it was. Yeah. Tracy talked about this in the last broadcast where, I forgot what the recruit's name, but took a trip to UConn, was about to take a trip to UCLA. UConn called him up, said, hey, we'll double your NIL, and boom, the rest is history. And now I think he's scoring like 15 points a game.
Yeesh.
Yeah. So that's part of it too. But it's also, it also has to do with like Cronin getting his players. They're not everybody's going to come to UCLA, and he's talked about this. And Tracy, has asked him about this. It's the culture fit. Obviously, I keep saying this, but David Singleton, Tiger, Jules, Jaime, they all fit the system because they understood what was going on. They were Cronin type players. And that's the thing. Cronin has to go out and get those players. But, with NIL not helping, he's missing on some recruits. But either way, this is still the team that he's constructed. It's a little weird that, Dylan Andrews is the point guard? Question mark, quote unquote.
That's a huge question mark.
Yeah, it's and
assist numbers would say differently.
And you had Peyton Watson, but he left after one season. It's weird in the weird of NIL and transfers and the portal and all that you coaches really have to work day to day, week to week, season to season with trying to keep a roster together. But how do you account for bringing in, 7 new guys, 8 new guys, 7 of them are freshmen? It just happens. You have a veteran team, like they were just so stacked last year, and the majority of the roster is now gone. So you have to fill it up with something. And a lot of that, you have to go to the portal probably a little harder. Lazar is doing what he can as a quote unquote veteran, as we said. Excuse me. But that was the only transfer. You got to hit the transfer portal a little bit harder. And, you got to just, with this season at this point, just got to be patient, develop the guys, get ready for next year. And, like we were saying, a lot of these guys are very athletic. They just have to figure it out, and that they have to come together. And that's not going to happen in the course of one non-conference season.
Yeah, I just wonder how many guys are quote unquote Mick Cronin guys when they're freshmen coming in for the first time getting college basketball. Yeah. There has to be an adjustment period to get to his style and hit what he wants. I think just by definition of who he is and how he relates to his players and how and that's relative to all the other basketball programs, right? I mean, I know, there's definitely been a focus in basketball over the last, dozen years or so, shifting more towards the offense. And this, Cronin's program is more of kind of an outlier program in that regard. So I just don't know how many guys you're going to get that are brand new they're to plug and play, let alone
Yeah.
the getting guys that are from all over the place and then having them mold together. And it's funny too, before the season started, Mike, we were talking about how, well, maybe this is kind of, you going out and getting these Euro guys, this might be a little bit of a way to make that transition easier, because it seems like the Euro guys are coming in a little more tough and ready to play, and a little bit more hard nosed than your typical AAU American basketball player type. But I guess that theory hasn't panned out, right?
Yeah.
But so I mean, maybe that's just part of it too, And Cronin, we know that he will put together some really tough, hard nosed teams. However, they got to bake a little bit, and I guess this is the opportunity for him just kind of getting the batter ready, and we'll see if it comes out all right in the end.
Okay, how about this?
But are we gonna have to get used to the cycle, I guess?
Yeah, and look, how about this? They're not going to make 99.9% chance they don't make the dance unless they go crazy and win the Pac-10 championship, right?
I believe they're ranked 102nd in Ken Palm. So right now, no.
That's no, right? But what about if
What if they expand the tournament to 300 teams?
Then maybe,
Oh, they're
just
Easy.
maybe. So you're saying there's a chance.
They're a 42nd seed.
Yeah. So the thing is, what would you guys do if you see an improvement? Say right now they're losing almost pretty much every game. What about they start going 50%? They win one, lose one. Win one, lose one in a month. Like, would you say, okay, we're seeing something better than now? Would you admit to that, or would you be like, F this is a horrible season?
Honestly, I could see multiple ways of this going. I could see it continue getting worse and worse and worse. I could also see it getting better. I mean, look at the start of the Stanford game where UCLA jumped out to, I think it was like a 10-0 run. There have been a handful of games. I asked Cronin about this, and he was having none of my positivity. He even said, "It's like, I know you're trying to be positive, but no." I basically asked, I was like, I forgot what game it was. It was before the Cal game. I said, "Coach, the Bruins have shown fight in the second quarter after being down at half. Is there any positivity you can take from that?" And I would take some positivity from that, because if you're down and your team figures out a way to come back to make those defensive stops and actually put the ball in the bucket, I can see that game expanding. I could totally see UCLA doing so much better. I don't think they're going to get the Pac-12 conference championship regular season, but I can see them improving and getting back to that top half of the standings. But if it's just kind of like falling on deaf ears and it's just not resonating, or the coaches aren't getting through, or whatever it is, I could also see it just
Bottoming out.
Yeah, and pack it in. Let's get ready for next year. And the reason I say that is because UCLA is so freaking inconsistent right now, and that is because a lot of the youth and no leadership. But like I said, there are flashes of greatness with this team, and if they can sustain that, well, obviously you're gonna turn this team into a winner. But that's few and far between right now. So with all that being said, with inconsistency as the key, a 500 team, that's probably what I would say at this point.
Well, I think that if they get back to 500 team, then I think we'll all be, and that's fine for what it looks like how this season is going. Yeah. Right. And that would be a improvement over where they are now. Obviously, that would mean they win more than they have lost towards the end of the season. So, all right, well, I guess we'll just leave it there. I do want to get to you guys, your opinion on the shifting landscape of NIL going forward and where we're going to be both with football and basketball. But we can talk about that as we talk about it with football in a minute. But let's get to the symposium, and then we'll get to football talk, and then we'll get on from there.
Do you think we drink too much?
No, we don't drink too much. Men face reality, women don't. That's why men need to drink.
I hate it when podcasters talk about what they're drinking.
What else am I going to drink, Bob? A fucking Fresca?
Oh, and thank you for joining the What's Bruin Symposium for 2024. Happy New Year to everybody. And we are here at What's Bruin Show, What's Bruin Symposium. Symposium is a conversation over drinks. And for the first time in a while, all three of us happen to have a drink in our hands. I just poured myself from a bottle of Maker's Mark. They have a special edition. Bill, what does that say on the front of that? Farm Fresh?
It's Fresh Fare.
Fresh Fare. And it's the Maker's Mark private selection where they let the company pick the staves that go into it, and then they make a big old bottle of it. But I got a couple of these when They were on clearance at Ralph's, and I like them. They're great whiskeys. But this is good. It's overproofed too. I think it's like 120 or something. Mikey, Bill, you both cracked a beer. What are you having?
We actually have the same as Mr. Bill came out of nowhere and asked for Bill.
After 10 years. After 10 years, I said, you know what? Because I was telling you guys off the air, I'm drinking more beer. What is it, Mike?
Oh, you are drinking more beer now?
Yeah.
Look at you.
Well, I got this one because, one, I like Ballast Point, and two, the hazies are good, but it's purple. And I was going for the Huskies.
Oh, that's right.
And they let me down. Unlike this beer, this Aloha Sculpin Hazy out of Ballast Point, which I believe is out in Belmont Shores or Long Beach area, local brewery. This is very good. And Bill, back me up. It's like, especially the hazies, they have a nice taste to it. They're not intense, and they're very it's just a nice drink. It's not overpowering.
A lot of good it did for the Huskies. Michigan just won the national championship 34-13.
I didn't drink enough in time.
Go Big Blue. Bill, I still am confused as to why exactly. Well, last week I was very, very confused that you were cheering for the for Michigan over Roll Tide, the Alabama.
Yeah, that shocked me too, sir.
What the hell was going on there?
Just
explain yourself.
Look, even my mom, who did not understand sports that well, would root for Michigan when they were. I'm like, I look at her when she back in the day, early teenage years, she'd say something about Michigan. Go Michigan, go this. I'm like, what? She said, that's where I'm from. That's, of course I'm going to root for them. It's from Ann Arbor. So there's that, and I have family that still lives in Ann Arbor.
I still am shocked though, because you literally say, I said this on my show last week on the listener only one, but I swear to God, you say Roll Tide 7,000 times a year.
I do.
I think you wake up in the middle of the night saying Roll Tide.
No, honestly. So Suzanne and I were just joking about, like, what if the boys went to Alabama? And she's crazy. Like, I'd fucking kill you, because all you would say all the time is Roll Tide. But
nice.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
All right, well, anyways,
it's a good beer. Yeah,
and Michigan wins, and they're the national champions, and now we're all in the Big Ten. So imagine that.
There you go.
They can play again next year, I guess. So last thing, thank you for joining the What's Bruin Show and the What's Bruin Symposium. For how much, Mike?
$2.
Just $2 a month.
$2.
You can send the What's Bruin Show into the future, or for a little bit more than $2 on Substack, whatsbruins.substack.com. But we appreciate your support as we head into 2024. Happy New Year, and cheers to everyone.
Blue 32, Blue 32, California, hood, hey! Football.
All right, so, we could have as broad of a discussion on football as we want, but I think I'm going to try to focus us into just kind of resetting it for 2024. We're kind of through pretty much the transfer portal cycle at this point, right? I think guys can still visit right now, right, Mike? I think until today, I think. That might have been the last day for that, but we know who the Bruins got for the quote-unquote early signing day, otherwise known as the stupidest recruiting day of the year, right in the middle of bowl season. And we know, at least right now, who is supposedly going out in the portal, who is coming in. There's 5 guys coming in. And as of right now, we know who's leaving for the draft or just leaving the team for whatever reason. Or there may be another batch around spring football, right? But as of right now, eyeballing it, these are the guys that are here. These are guys going out, and yada yada yada. But just to reset it, okay. These are the guys that have come in via the transfer portal as of right now. They got 2 defensive linemen / possible edge players. They got a guy from Navy who was their former captain, denied a 5th year, had a torn bicep, and now he's going to be in Westwood. That is Jacob Busick, and he's coming over here. Obviously, the connection with
new tight ends coach, Nia Matalolo.
Yeah, Ken Niamatololo. And then,
wow, that just came out.
Good job. I hope you're right, because I copied you. But old Kenny Ann. And then he had an edge defensive lineman coming, Collins Achima Pong. Mike, did I get that one right?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, thank you. And he's a transfer from Miami. A little bit of payback for Jalen Phillips, that son of a bitch. But we'll see. He's a former 4-star, top 200 player. Last year, he accrued no stats at Miami. He was hurt as well through most of the season.
Yeah.
But he could turn out to be a dude, or maybe he won't. But he's 6'7", like almost 300 pounds, and it remains to be seen what he could do. But he certainly is a big old athlete that you'd want to kind of mold into something cool.
Is this the one from Miami?
Yeah, that's the one from Miami, right? Yeah, a possible payback for Jalen Phillips, as I said. My favorite transfer of the year, and I think the one that's going to add
the kicker.
5 points a game to their scoring average at a minimum, right?
Kicker.
None other than Mateen Bagani from Cal.
Eat it, Jamaal.
Eat it, Jamaal. Suck at Stanford. All that good stuff. I got one of those here. We can say he used to be here,
California, here we come.
but then he said, and
Suck it, Cal.
that's right. So he is now coming to us, and he is 29 for 29 in extra points, Bill. Does that kind of float your boat there?
Look, anything that's
How about this?
anything is better than where UCLA
How about this, Bill?
was.
How does this make you feel? 8 for 9 on field goals. 8 for 9.
What was UCLA? Was it like 1 for 9?
They were floating around 50% the entire year, Bill,
Yeah.
and they missed numerous extra points. It was just an absolute shit show. So just an absolute tragedy. So also a transfer from Notre Dame, Uncle Rico Flores, coming from Notre Dame. He is one of only 3 players last year to have a 100-yard receiving game for the Fighting Irish.
Good.
And it was later in the year too. Like he was kind of a he's a 4-star, but came in and kind of found his way. And not that they have a super prolific passing offense over there in South Bend, but
they had a quarterback with a luscious beard.
he had a big game at the end of the year,
Until he didn't, Archer.
and now he's a Bruin.
Really?
Didn't he look like Archer?
Yeah, he did.
Thank you. You guys done?
What? We're talking about Notre Dame's quarterback.
Bearded Archer. Not shaved Archer.
Thank
Bearded
you.
Archer.
All right.
Yeah, not first season Archer. Or second.
But last season.
Was it last season?
Yeah.
What number season was that? Oh, I'm sorry, Jake. Continue.
Love you guys. Last but not least, they got a guy that may play or may not play. Who knows? He's like the Jaime Jaquez or the who's another player who's around for a million years? A Tiger Campbell type.
Kenny Nuba?
Oh no, no.
Kenny Nuba's been here for like 15 years.
A Kane Medrano type of situation.
A Chase Griffin, if you'd like.
Chase Griffin. There you
Yeah.
go.
This is Brian Addison from by way of Oregon. He was
Wait, I remember him in Oregon.
big baller for Oregon 2 years ago, right? He played most of the 22 season, had a bunch of big hits, played pretty well. This last season, he only played 4 games, and he went in the transfer portal like mid-season, I want to say, for quote-unquote personal reasons. And he is now coming to Westwood, but as has been documented many, many times on the old bro.
Hi, bro.
He may or may not play because he's like a 15th year senior seeking eligibility for a 16th year kind of thing. It's almost
This would be his 7th year.
it's a silly like stretching of the stretch, so we'll see. We gotta cross our fingers and hope on that one. Because obviously looking at the guys who are leaving.
So does he have a PhD?
Yeah, I
how
don't
long
know.
has this freaking guy been in school?
I don't know. That's your transfer recruits coming in. And then they got a bunch of high school guys coming in, not as many as a lot of other people. They still get a lot of open scholarships available. But highlighting the high school recruits, 3 offensive linemen, right? 1 4-star, 2 3-stars, all of them big fellas, 6'5", 6'6", and 6'7".
Yeah.
Does that sound good to you?
Yeah.
Sounds good to me. Only one of them is over 300 pounds at this point, though. So you're telling me we're over 6'6" and we're under 300 pounds? Probably, what does that scream to me? It screams to me, developmental.
Yeah.
However, there's one guy that's 6'5", 315. So maybe he might have a chance of getting out there on the field a little bit in 2024. Who knows? But you got 3 young offensive linemen. That's good, right? That's a bonus, right? Right.
Well, guys that aren't, you said, but 3 offensive linemen that are ready?
No. One that may be available to play and 2 that are kind of skinny and need to put on some weight is what I'm saying.
Got it.
Okay. You got a wide receiver from Sierra Canyon, Bill. I know that's got to get you excited. That's Quasi Gilmore. They got a running back named Cameron Jones, 4-star. So he'll be, it looks like the running back room as of right now looks pretty good, but adding a 4-star guy into that mix is nice. Is another California kid. I want to say he's from like San Diego or Orange County or something.
Okay.
Matt Hasselbeck's kid. He's
That's
coming in.
right, from Boston College.
Yeah, that's right. And a guy named Carson Gordon, a Texas athlete sort of quarterback. So that looks good. He had a bunch of like Olympic sport kind of medals and things like that. And then on the defensive side, you got 2 linebackers. 3-star guys, one from Utah, one from Washington. And then you also got a couple cornerbacks coming in, both of which seem to be relatively young on the smallish side. But one was a flip from Northwestern, and one was offered by Penn State. So you got that going for you.
So
that's the good news on the transfers. And what I would say about the transfer and the recruiting class, as of right now, as of today, where do you think they are ranked?
60th. 70th.
I wish. Yeah. As of right now, they are number 64th overall, but they're number 75 in the composite, and they're number 51 in transfers. And they're second to last in the Big Ten. That's the important side. The new Big Ten, they're second to last. Only Northwestern is behind them.
Embarrassing.
What I can say in their defense is it's a small class, so they have an average of 88.21 per the 24/7 Sports composite, right? That would be good for 29th in the nation by average, if you get what I'm saying. It's kind of like, remember back in the Jim Mora years, Stanford would always have tiny recruiting classes, but they'd all be like 4 or 5-star guys.
Yeah.
And so they'd have a very good average. Well, what I'm saying is their 29th would be like a mildly underachieving typical UCLA class of old, right?
Of course.
Well, wouldn't it?
No, yeah.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? Okay, so what I'm saying is, by average, they're in that ballpark at least, but in volume, not so much. They're 17th in the Big Ten.
It's the volume that matters.
This is the volume that
Serious, dude.
I like how you're trying to break this down, but it's the volume.
But so I think that's something that speaks in their favor. Like they're good for 29th by average. However,
true.
Where do you think that average lands them in the Big Ten landscape? Because it's a different landscape, right?
89th.
So like, well, if they're 29th in the nation,
89th out of 20 teams.
No. Listen to the question. Listen to the question.
Okay.
God damn it.
There's not a lot of hope, Jake. Washington just lost.
Listen to the fucking question.
Listen.
If they're 29th in the nation by average recruit ranking, right, by the number, where do you think they'd land in the Big Ten? Because
using that same average, like
average number of recruit.
6.
There's 18 Big Ten teams now, right?
6. I would say.
I would put him at 12th.
Okay, well, you're a little too positive. You're a little too negative.
I'll say 8th.
9th, right?
Okay.
Which that's not like that. That to me is speaking against it, right? Now you have all the power teams consolidating.
Uh-huh.
Well, that just means they're right in the middle of the Big Ten. Not so good. Not so good. So certainly a lot of improvements could be made there.
I know of one.
What's that, Bill?
No, I'm just being snarky.
I know you are. Why don't you continue that snarky thought, guy?
That's all good. I just, let's just get. I think this is a wasted year coming up.
Well, it's funny you say that, but now when you actually look at like who left the program, let's look at that real quick as we're resetting it for a new year. These are the guys that have left so far, right? If we talk about on offense, they lost the Man of Steel, Carson Steele. Very sad. He declared for the NFL draft. You lost Mr. Jones. Although he is not committed yet. He's still a question mark in the transfer portal. You lost Dante Moore to Oregon. He went to the Wimpy Ducks. The Wimpy Dante went to the Wimpy Ducks. Carson Ryan went to Utah, tight end. Cam Brown went to Purdue. Jeremiah McClure and Bradley Schlorn are in the portal. Did you even know who those guys were, Bill?
No.
I didn't think so. So that's and then former UCLA offensive lineman by way of Colorado, Jake Wiley, went to Houston. Those are all the losses on offense. And personally, like none of those names, other than I'm sad to see Carson Steele and Keegan Jones go because I like those guys, none of them are crippling for the UCLA offensive effort going into 2024. Wouldn't you say, Bill?
Yeah,
there's nothing crippling there.
It's not crippling, no. You didn't mention Kamari. Did you mention Kamari?
I'm talking about offense, Bill.
Oh, offense.
I'm talking about offense.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at this year for the Bruins, the problem was not their defense; it was the offense. Now we'll get to how the defense might be a problem next year, but but I do want to speak to something about that, right? So when you look at their offensive depth chart, the guys they lost aren't really imperative, in my opinion. Obviously, there's some guys that I'm sad to see go, but then they bring in some developmental offensive linemen to kind of fill in behind the guys that, their offensive line, regardless of how, you might think they didn't play up to the, they didn't play very well last year, but they're still now very laden with juniors and seniors. They're almost too deep in that regard. They're going to bring back the guy that we all, in hindsight now, feel should have started the whole season last year, and that's Ethan Garbers. And then they have some depth behind him with the Schleister, and now they have Justin Martin may have an opportunity to be the backup, or maybe Chase Griffin in his 14th year as a Bruin will have a chance to back him up. So that seems solid, right? And there's not really any question marks there either, right? And then when you look at, they brought in a wide receiver to replace the receivers that are lost, and I'd say that the transfer we just talked about, the guy from Notre Dame, Uncle Rico. I can't wait to get the drop for Uncle Rico. Or Rico Suave. Bill, good job. You're working here. I appreciate that. He came in, but who's still in the wide receiver room, guys? J. Mike and Kyle Ford, who, if Ethan Garbers and them can develop some chemistry, that's certainly not something you're going to declare a weakness. Now, it remains to be seen if these guys hang around. It's all very possible that this could change drastically by spring because they all decide to transfer out. But guess what? That hasn't happened yet. And it's not like we're hearing much stories that they're all going to transfer out. Midway through the season, Kyle Ford and Sturdivant seemed very frustrated to a degree, but then they didn't leave. So now I'm assuming at this point they're going to be around. So once again, wide receivers doesn't seem like a weakness. And then when you get to the tight end group, they still got Hudson Habermill there. And they still got Maliki Mataveo, And it's like, come on. Yeah. Like, that's not an area of weakness either. And they added a guy, and I think they had a recruit there too this tight end. I don't know, whatever.
It's not, but it's also not an area of strength as it used to be.
What are you talking about, though? Like, when you look at, and plus you added a kicker, right? You added a kicker to actually kick. So, to me, the UCLA offense would not have been bad last year if they just would have had a quarterback. If they would have had a quarterback that was consistent and could play, we got fooled by Dante Moore and him being ready, and he turned out not to be ready at all. And then they couldn't keep Garbers upright. And obviously there's some issues with how the line pass blocks and all that stuff. However, there was, I think it is foolish to assume that the offense will be as bad as it was this year. And I think it is foolish to assume that it won't be significantly improved. Now, will it be DTR in his 5th year good? No, but it's going to be much better than it was this year. And I think on paper, you can make a lot of strong arguments for that. There is really a reason to be bullish about how the UCLA offense, especially when you talk about where they're going to play and the level of teams that they're going to play. Okay. Sure. They're going to be playing some teams that are very good, but they're also going to be playing some teams that aren't as good as what they, that are on par with what they've played the last couple of years. So I think the UCLA offense could be pretty darn good next year. And then it brings you over to, what the F's up with the defense, right? The defense is where it's going to be a struggle, I think. Obviously, we didn't even get to the new defensive coordinator, which I want to get your guys' opinion on that in a minute. But just getting to where the depth chart lands, there's going to be some problems here because you lost the best edge rusher you've ever had, right, in Liatu Latu, and 2 very good edge guys in addition to that, and the
4.
Murphy twins.
Or 3, sorry. With
right.
Carl Jones, who's declaring for the
and
job.
Carl Jones and his glorious haircut, right? So, I mean, that is a big deal, right? And to think that the defense is going to be anywhere near as good as they were this year, that I think is it's not going to be. It's impossible for it to be.
No, correct.
And there's going to be some regression, but that was going to happen whether or not Danton Lynn left or not, right? They're already going to lose a lot.
Yeah.
It hurts even more when Danton Lynn leaves. And it's still the most shameful thing that's happened to UCLA this year, I think. It's one of those things where it's like, I was thinking about today, this is going to be, assuming that Danton Lynn goes to SC, and even if he's just okay to good to great, it's going to be like when the Lakers let Alex Caruso go, in my opinion. It's going to be that thing that just keeps coming up over and over again. And we're constantly reminded of it.
Little worse, but
in your opinion, because you don't like the Lakers. But for us, that was a big freaking deal. For Laker fans, we're like, this guy that you was a diamond in the rough that you found. Not to say that Danton Lynn wasn't wasn't respected, but you gave him his first shot, right? The Lakers gave Caruso his first shot and foshed him into success, and then you refuse to pay him, and he goes elsewhere because you refuse to pay him. Sure. That's the analogy there, and I think that lines up pretty well.
That's a good analogy, Jay.
Still different, but
in what way, Mike? How would you say it's different? Fucker.
Because there's a coach compared to a guy who's what's he doing now? Like playing 3 minutes for Seattle.
He's one of the best defenders in Chicago, and they might actually trade assets to get him back. That's Alex
really?
Caruso.
Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah.
But I mean, that's really where it hurts, is that you lose D'Anton Lynn, and then you lose Kamari Ramsey, which is a huge deal, and you lose Humphreys as well, right? So the back end's where they're going to hurt. But when you look at what they have coming back, you can, squint your eyes and still envision a UCLA defense that is at the very least stout against the run, which, by the way, you're going to the Big Ten where all they want to do is run the ball, because you still have, as of right now, Joey Toya is still on the team, right? Is he a pretty good run-stopping force in the middle? Yeah, I think he is. How about Gary Smith? How about Keanu Williams, right? That's a really good place to start with the interior of your defense. And yes, you are going to miss all of the pressure that's generated by those edge rushers that you're losing, but you got to hope that Chloe Bryant-Strother and Busick, the transfer in, and then they're also hoping that a kid named Ja'Cory Price is going to turn out to be to do something at some point, right? He hasn't yet, but this is going to be his opportunity. And then the other guy you brought in, the Miami guy you brought in, if they can get a couple of guys that can generate some pressure off of those guys, they're not going to be as good as this year. There's no way they will be, but they can be okay, right? And they can still be pretty good against the run because they still got, when I say they got Kay Madrano and Ali Cahill back there, that's a pretty good, and I'm sorry, I missed my favorite guy, Olafemi Oladipo. That's a pretty good start with linebackers too, isn't it, guys? Wouldn't you say?
I think so.
Thanks, Bill. This is best in the business. So where it really falls apart is you got nobody to play safety really, especially if they don't give Addison his
especially when
15th year. Go ahead, Mike.
Especially since UCLA also lost that commitment from San Diego State, who
that hurt.
committed to Texas A&M. So I was like, oh, okay, awesome, fantastic. There's that.
But you have, as far as corners go, you got Kirkwood, Davies, and DJ Justice is going to get a shot now, it looks like. So, I mean, you guys get, and then if Addison gets to play, then
you
can put together some semblance of a defense, is what I'm saying.
But you also don't have the superstars that you did.
That is absolutely true. And that's true. And that's going to limit this from being a really good defense. But I don't see why, and this is really the point I wanted to get around to, and I want to see what you guys have to think. And then we're going to talk about the defensive coordinator, Bill, and then we'll get to your what's brewing, and then you can leave. But just try to give me
says this
10 more solid
every
minutes.
week.
I know, I really do.
Seriously, another hour later.
A lot's been said about the strength of schedule that Kelly has had in front of him the last couple of years and how he's woefully underachieved. And by the way, I agree. That's absolutely true. There's no way in hell that there shouldn't be at least one, probably two 10-win seasons under Kelly's belt at UCLA the last 2 years. There's no denying that. And part of that is how bad the strength of schedule has been. They played the easiest schedules that they've played in years and years and years. Their schedule next year isn't easy in that regard because there's some high-end, top-end teams that they're going to have to face, right? And more than 3 or 4 of them. But when you look at the rest of it, I think it's pretty comparable to what they've played the last couple of years, and they're playing some of the flotsam and jetsam of the Big Ten that can't generate any offense. If you would have taken UCLA this year, Kelly's worst offense since his first couple of years at UCLA, and one of the most just hard-to-watch offenses we've seen, in a while, where do you think they would have ranked in Big Ten offense by points scored? They averaged, I think, 26. 26 and a half points.
Top 3.
Bill, as usual, you take it a little too far, but you're not far off.
5th.
They would have been the 5th best offense in the Big Ten this year with their freaking 26 and a half points per game. The actual 5th best team in the Big Ten this year was freaking Illinois, and they put up 24 and a half points per game, good for 83rd in the country. So 10 Big Ten teams this year were worse than 83rd in the country in offense. And we're not talking about like, they were playing, it's like Maryland, they're playing Michigan every week. They played Michigan once, but, there are some piss poor offenses in the Big Ten, and I think that is going to make up for, at least in a little bit.
That's the fallacy with people saying, oh, good luck, you're in only winning 3 games a year in the Big Ten. It's like, look, they clearly have the Ohio States, Penn States, and Michigans, but everything else is such a step down from that.
I disagree with you.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, because
I'm sure they're so
UCLA's
tough.
not going by them freaking selves. UCLA's going there with USC, Oregon, and Washington.
Oh no, it got incrementally harder.
It just
there's
no offense. I just named 4 fucking teams that have offense.
Well, did you listen to what I said? I said that they're going to have 4 or 5 tough teams on their schedule, but the rest of it.
But now it's like 5 or 6.
Look, everybody is talking.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, is it? Let's go down the list.
Washington and Oregon, adding that.
Okay, you're talking about
USC.
Okay. You're talking about Washington without Michael Penix. They have to figure out what they're going to do next year.
Oh.
Now they are the national
I
champion.
think they're going to bounce back pretty.
I think they'll
maybe they are.
They'll be all right. They're going to be all right.
Because Michael Penixes grow on trees. Yeah, that's of course what it is.
He'll be fine.
Okay. They're playing Hawaii.
Really? Where's ours?
They're playing Hawaii.
He's in Cleveland right now.
That's my point. That's my fucking point. They're going to probably be good on offense, but they're going to be good as they were this year. Not even close. I mean, they're losing their entire offense. Their offense is what our defense is this year. I mean, how is it not?
Jake,
so that, I mean, it's
called
NIL.
reload. It's called NIL reload. I mean,
It's called recruiting.
Good God, Jake. It's going to be. You're right, Jake. You're right. The Big Ten, outside of these 4 schools that are coming in,
you're more positive than me. What the hell?
I'm not trying to be positive. I'm just trying to set
you're laying down the facts.
expectations.
No, I totally understand that.
No, but the realistic expectations are not. You're a little too rosy with your expectation, and
I haven't given you my expectations.
I'm not doom and gloom, but golly, you can't have this premise, and I understand the premise is outside of these 4 teams. You know, it's the offenses, and you're right. They have the Iowas, they have the Illinois, they have the Northwesterns, they have all these fucking horrible teams offensively in Indiana and all that stuff. But Jake, it's gonna be a gauntlet because if you just look at it, and I know UCLA doesn't play them every year, but Oregon, Washington, USC, Penn State, Michigan. And am I missing some? Did I say Ohio State?
I could see Michigan State coming up under Jonathan Smith.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. That's a guaranteed 6, maybe 7.
Wisconsin you can never count them out, but even going mid,
that's 7.
That's yeah.
Okay,
it's
guaranteed 6. How about let's just go with the guaranteed 6.
That's why
schools.
when we first heard that Oklahoma and Texas were going to the SEC, I'm like, why? You just made it incredibly tougher for you and everybody else to win a conference championship. And if, at the very least, that's what gives extensions and not at UCLA, but that's what helps recruiting and all that. You just made it so much tougher on everyone else. And then UCLA and USC going there and then adding Oregon and Washington. This is going to be a bloodbath. I don't think UCLA, let's start with UCLA. I don't see them winning a conference championship at all in the Big Ten.
Unless something drastically changes with recruiting and
and even USC, I don't see any of the West Coast teams winning Big Ten conference.
Maybe Oregon.
Maybe
Washington would have won it this year.
At least in the first 5 years.
Could have won it.
At least in the first 5 years.
Yeah.
But that's an if. They're still in the Pac-10. And right now in the Big Ten, the Midwest, where all this is happening, Michigan's, who just won the freaking national championship, Ohio State's, Penn State's, they have a grip on that.
All I'm saying is, you guys are talking these general terms about the entire Big Ten. They're playing Hawaii. They're playing Indiana. They're playing LSU without their Heisman winning quarterback.
Like they're not going to have another guy.
Playing Oregon without Bo Nix.
He just sort of glasses over that.
They're playing at Penn State.
Fresno State
was one of the better offensive teams.
Best recruiting class in the nation.
Minnesota, Rutgers, Nebraska.
They did not.
Iowa.
Nebraska's going to be
Washington without Michael Penix. USC without, well, he got Miller Moss now. Apparently he's a million points a game. But without Caleb Williams. Well, all I'm saying is, look, we are, they chose to retain Chip Kelly. He's still there. Although, is he flirting with other jobs? I'm not going to buy it because he was supposed to be Oregon's coach a couple years ago, wasn't he? Remember that? Stupid debacle? They're sticking with Chip Kelly. I am telling you this. We're trying to hold Chip Kelly's feet to the fire over the job he hasn't got done at UCLA. If he's going to continue to be the UCLA coach, number one, I'm just saying that you shouldn't, number one, just expect that they're going to be absolute dog meat when they go to the Big Ten next year because there are a lot of things that are cutting in their favor, even with the departures that they've had. And you shouldn't set your expectations too low for this team, even next year, because then you give him the chance to overachieve. And if you really want him to be held accountable, you need to set reasonable expectations. You're sitting over there going, well, they're never going to win the conference title. Nobody ever said they're going to win the conference title. I'm not saying they're going to compete for the conference title. I'm saying they're going to be better than mediocre next year, in my opinion, just because of the soft factors that are cutting in their favor. And I'm trying to point those out so that we can all go in there next year and say, oh, yeah, UCLA's are going to go 5-7 and be eighth in the Big Ten, and they end up being like 8-4 or something. And they're like,
if they go
we
8-4 in the Big
Ten,
Ten, if they go 8-4 in the Big Ten with
the schedule.
Yeah, it's brutal.
It's not.
It's very brutal.
It's so not brutal.
Wow, Jake. Oh,
I know.
We should have got that. Jake, we definitely need to get video.
Yeah. Run it yourself. Anyways, look, I want.
No, I totally get it too, because I mean, like I said, that's the point. When people say, "Oh, UCLA is going to go 3-3 every year in the Big Ten," no, they're not, because Illinois sucks, Rutgers sucks, Indiana sucks. I'm being.
The problem with this is they're stuck in the middle, right?
I'm generalizing. Yes.
But I'm just saying.
But that's the thing. Like,
don't let your expectations fall too low for this team, and then don't let him overachieve. You know, keep it reasonable and make him actually prove that, you know, or whatever. I mean, either have a good season or keep the pressure on. That's all I'm saying. Now, what do you guys think of the DC hire?
Here.
I mean, it's the best he can do, considering he's by some a lame duck coach. It's the best you're going to get,
especially because
a top shelf DC is not going to come to a situation,
or even a Danton Lynn. And yeah, he pulled that out of thin air last year, and he could have done that this year.
But he wasn't a lame duck last year. Considering
the fact that, I mean, this feels like who was the coach that Rick Neuheisel hired right before his final year? It was like, yeah, nobody was like. The writing was on the wall. It's like, if you don't do well, this is only going to be a 1-year job.
Was that one of those bullet teams?
Yeah,
there's another guy too.
People want security. They want to be at a place. They want to make sure that they're secure. They have a paycheck for more than just 1 year.
Yeah, they're not.
And if they that's
not the whole story either. They also,
no, it isn't.
You were selling him, Latu and the Murphy twins, all this stuff. There's a lot of talent drain on the product this year.
But on the positive side, which I know you're trying to get to, Jake, and I'm trying.
I'm not trying to get the positive. I'm just trying to say what it is. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
True. He did too pretty well after a first half of after halftime of adjustments. That defense came to play in the LA Bowl, and sure, they still had those guys who made a difference this year on defense.
Yeah.
But
Murphy's
Akiko Maloa is he has a lot on his hands. I do like it because he knows the players. And this was a thing too. This is what Tracy said on the last broadcast, is that there was talk about him possibly going to SC, possibly going across the town to SC, which that would have sucked. If he would have gone across to SC, no end to like, oh my God, UCLA, the sky is falling with UCLA football. They hire him here, and it's like, okay, well, that's cool. That's 1 point for Chip Kelly, I guess.
He is a guy who's called plays before.
Exactly. He's a seasoned coach, and like I said, he knows his team. He was the leader of the probably the best defensive line in the Pac-12. They need to reload bigly in the next few recruiting classes, because what they have going in next season, I don't think it's going to be all that. But I do like it because it's someone who's familiar with the team, and if things go bad, it's someone who will stick with the team.
There is absolutely no, obviously the expectations are going to be lower for him considering what he's lost and the posture of the team. But I said it on our listener, on our patrons only podcast. But I agree with Bill. It's probably the best hire they could make given the circumstances, and especially the direction that the defense was pointed in. And the talent that they lost. But if he can keep them kind of afloat and also keep open a pipeline maybe to some of the Pacific Islander players and things like that, I mean, those are all good things. And he's called play before, and he's coached at a bunch of pretty good universities. So, I mean, you could do worse, in my opinion, especially given, where they were in this when they had to hire him. It's all a fruit of the poisonous, embarrassing shit show of a tree of them letting Danton Lynn go, which was still, it's the worst thing that could have happened as far as this coaching cycle. But guys, Bill, are you? When's the next show you're going to do?
When is the next show?
Next week,
Tuesday.
And we do shows on Tuesdays. I know it's Monday, not tomorrow, next Tuesday.
8 days.
Next Tuesday.
I know. I gotta see the schedule.
I do want to talk about NIL and where we're heading with NIL, but I don't know if right now's the time. Is right now the time, Bill?
Yeah, you go ahead. Right, you go right ahead and talk about it.
I don't think it's time. So we're going to get to Bill's favorite part of the show and then move on from there.
What's brewing with you? You ask me. What's brewing with me? Yeah. What's brewing with you? What's brewing with me? What's brewing with you?
Mikey, what's brewing with you?
Well, we had a 3-week layoff of What's Bruin show, and it coincided with my 3 weeks off from work, and it was freaking busy. You know, like this break. You know, I try to have compared to last year. Last year, the first week of holiday of winter break, busy up to Christmas, cool, New Year's, yeah. But the rest of winter break. Did nothing. This year, I was doing something every freaking day. Went out to Philadelphia to meet the Lady Kelly for New Year's. That was fantastic. I went to my sister's for Christmas, and kind of like not to get too into it, but one of my sisters I've been solid with. The other two last few years, it's been rocky, kind of. Building that bridge again, so that was really fun.
That's nice.
That was really we had a
hear.
really good Christmas with that with the family, and just like it's everything out. Like that first week, the girls had their first basketball game, which they lost. But hey, there are parts of the game where I could see like, okay, we got to work on this, we got to work on this, we got to work on this. Took them out to practice. Violet is vehemently excited about rebounding drills and boxing out. I'm like, damn,
Nice.
girl, that's all right. Excuse me. Just the rest of the time, just trying to entertain these children with their time off. Like, okay, what are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do now? So, one of the things last Friday, we wanted to go to the Getty, so we did that right before we went to the UCLA women's basketball game
Fun.
against.
See the William Blake stuff?
I did.
Sweet.
Really cool stuff. But yeah, I took the girls to the basketball game because, one, I wanted to see basketball, but I was also telling them, look at how they shoot, look at how they rebound, look at how they go for. So it was total learning experience. And Poppy's 2 years younger than Violet. Violet's getting it. Poppy's kind of like she's just taking it all in. Poppy's like a sponge. I don't know what the hell's going on in her mind sometimes. But Violet, she's like, okay, what's this? What's this? What's this? So it was really cool. Just long story short. My kids are freaking growing up, man. Nobody told me that this goes by so freaking quick. Violet's going to be taller than me in no time. But no, just very good times spending with the kids, mostly family, friends, loved ones. And finally got a break from you guys, you jerks. No, I love you. I was actually, I was thinking about doing like a podcast at one point, at least to talk about basketball. I was like, no. I want to do that. I'm on break. I'll do it with the guys properly when we get back in the new year. So no, this was good to be back here. And Jake, that board is just gorgeous.
It really is cool.
It is pretty. It's very pretty. Anyway, Bill, what's wrong with you?
How old is Violet now?
14. Turned 14 in December.
Good Lord.
Yeah. Did I tell you I got her first pair of Doc Martens?
You did. You did. Yeah.
Oh, dude, smile on her face, dude. That was awesome. That was worth it.
Boot or shoe?
Boot. The 8-hole. Oh,
Eight-hole.
yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. She saw the ones what are they? I forgot what they're called, but the low top. I'm like, nah, next year, one at a time. The Mary Janes.
Yes.
Bill, what's wrong with you?
I was talking to Jake about this. He was laughing at me. I've decided this year to do a triathlon. I've already started training.
Really?
Yeah. And joined a gym for the whole purpose of the pool. God help us.
You got in the pool yet?
No, that's the thing. It's like, God, I've been doing the running. I've been doing the biking. I'm like the pool. I'm like, God, I've been looking on YouTube, like how to do this. Like, I don't.
Do you need me to teach you how to swim?
I know there's a technique to freestyle and I don't know it yet. So I've been YouTubing.
Yeah, do you need to know how to swim? I know how to swim.
Oh, okay.
I know how to swim freestyle. My best friend in high school was a fucking swimmer.
But like,
I've tried to teach you before.
What is the distance? 2 miles?
No, that's the Ironman, sir.
No, we're gonna do a shorter one.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, Belle hasn't invited me yet.
Oh, you want to do it, Jake? Okay, let's do it.
I'll
Let's
do
rock
it.
and roll. So it's the I'm gonna do the triathlon sprint.
Jack, we're wusses, so we're gonna do the short one.
And then we're gonna do the. Well, I gotta start somewhere.
That's Jack from the Beer on the Run podcast.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do the
Available
sprint,
on iTunes.
and then I'm gonna do the Olympic, and then I'll see where I am from there. I'm not buying a bike. Those bikes are literally. I am not Mike. Literally.
So what kind of bike are you gonna ride?
It's a good deal.
$20,000.
Yeah.
So whose bike are you gonna ride?
Although it's pretty awesome. You go up to it, you kind of like lift it with a pinky.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus.
Hey,
this weighs nothing, and it's like you could throw it through a wall.
Just get an electric bike, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude,
I'm not even pedaling. Go, you fuckers.
my dad was into cycling when I was in high school, and he got me into it.
Yeah.
I was a cyclist, I would say, for a good year and a half. Then I was like, no, I need to preserve.
That's the part of the triathlon I have no interest in. I do not want to bike. I don't like biking.
Oh.
Sorry, Mom.
It's the swimming for me.
Yeah, I'll swim and run all day long.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, and biking. Oh, no, it's a swimming for me too.
Swimming,
Biking,
I'm like-
I'll bike.
I'll bike
whatever.
all day, but
I'm used to that.
Either way, I'm going to do it. He told me about 2 to 3 months to get into shape for the sprint, and then from there we're just going to go. So I'm going to be looking. So by the next podcast,
when are you going to get in the pool?
I got to do it this week, but it's just like, it's just sucky.
Yeah,
it's just sucky because I'm like. I've seen some stuff on like you're like literally holding onto the side of the pool and then learning how to just float. So because he's trying to use his.
Do you not know how to swim at all?
Jake, that's the dumbest question I've ever heard. So
no, it's not. Do you know how to
really
swim?
not. The way you're describing it, you're describing it like, oh
Yeah,
my god,
like,
this is such an instrumental
wait,
challenge.
do you know how to
fucking
swim?
go and swim, bro?
Do you know how to swim?
I don't know how to do the freestyle.
It's not that hard.
It's this motion. No, and it's
He's
not
dancing. Now he's dancing.
It's not. It's the breathing
They
technique.
do this thing and go.
Yeah, it's the breathing technique. It's like
Okay.
how you get your air because
it's
here's
very
the thing.
easy.
Hey, he's talking shit. But
So like
You keep your head in the
just
water.
to simplify it, like lane racing.
Your arm creates
okay,
a pocket.
So that's lane racing's probably only going to be for the sprint. When you get to the Olympic one where you're doing a mile,
guy.
that's going to be in the lake or ocean.
Yeah.
And then you have to think it's called sight swimming, where you have to sort of look at where the hell you're going because you
Yeah.
can get off track.
Oh, it's not that hard.
Why
It's
don't
not
you
that-
jump
it's
in my
not that
fucking
hard.
pool
It's not that hard.
and swim?
Jake, gives
Your
I'll-
arm,
I'll show you.
Your arm creates the pocket of air, and you just go tilt your head. You're swimming, and you have goggles on. You can see where you're going. It's not fucking rock science. Stop overthinking it, Bill.
I'm not. I'm going to
This
do
is
it.
like when
You're
my
in your own
father-in-law.
head, bro. You're in your
I'm
own
doing
head.
it. I'm
You're
doing
in
it.
your own head.
This is like when my father-in-law, God rest his soul. This will be my What's Brewing so we can get out of here.
In your head.
Mike doesn't want to hear my story.
Oh, that's a good song.
Fuck y'all.
Continue.
Oh, wait.
Jake.
That's very
Never
good.
mind.
Sorry.
I'm not gonna share that story anymore.
I'm tired.
Screw you guys.
So your father did what?
I don't know. I don't remember. I like my new board. I can customize the buttons to be blue and gold if I want, or purple and gold if we're doing a Laker podcast. Although we don't do that anymore. West Coast Spies got canceled apparently, Jamaal. I don't know what your problem is. I can do this.
I can make my voice sound like that.
Or like that.
Or like that.
Or like that.
Or like that. It's pretty fun.
Jake, go back to that purple one and say, no, the one above it. When we come to party, we will party hard.
When we come to party, we will party hard.
This is great fun.
That's total Andrew WK if you didn't know.
I love it. It's
Really? That's Andrew WK?
Oh, I'll play it for you after, yeah.
That's the guy who busted his nose, right? With the blood?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
But anyways, I thank my lovely wife Sarah and my wonderful mother Sandy for getting me this cool Rode 2 Rodecaster soundboard for Christmas. Me and Mike have been futzing with it
So cute.
all evening, and we are very impressed. So it is lots of fun. So I'm looking forward to using this in the new year. And if you have any tips for me on how to use this bad boy, shoot them my way at whatsbruinshow@gmail.com. We have like some compiled listener stuff. I don't know how much has gotten stale or not. If you guys have any calls going forward for UCLA basketball or anything you're saying about football, by all means, call the hotline. Boys, what is it? 805-399-4WBS. Second Ranch Way. And, it's a Happy New Year to you all. I'm probably going to do a bonus show sometime this week. And I'll try to keep those going at least every other week or so at a minimum. And I don't know if Mike's going to be doing anything, but he might, and he'll shoot it out there on the feed. And guys, thank you for your support, and I look forward to a happy 2024. And until next time, Bill, what do we say?
Go Bruin.
Oh, that's very Steven Seagal.
Good evening.
Smoke 'em if you got 'em.
That was the What's Bruin Show.
Try us tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel.
It's gotta be in or out, Mom. In or out. Well, I need the door closed.
Thank you for your cooperation.
Dude, Rob, we play some ball on the West Coast.
The final word is boob.